In your headlines, the overseas territories are in solidarity with the UK in denouncing Russia's military action. The DDME has an official app. And Dr. Mills gets candid one last time for Newswatch. From the PTV Broadcasting Headquarters in Providencial is your number one source for news. I'm Erica Pinales, delivering the latest from across the country this Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022, right to your door. Newswatch starts now. In today's top story, the government of the Turks and Caicos Islands is working to enhance its treatment abroad program with the Dominican Republic. Here's what this will mean for patients.
The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Ministry of Home Affairs, recently led a delegation to Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic to discuss ways in which the TCI and the DR can strengthen its strategic ties. During the two-day visit, the delegation met and held discussions with the Minister of Consular Affairs, Dr. Yatsel Roman, and Minister of Health, Dr. Dania Rivera. On Monday, March the 14th, the Honorable Otis Morris led discussions between Dr. Roman on their acceptance of emergency travel documents from the Turks and Caicos Islands for treatment abroad patients. This document provides a single journey, which allows the bearer to return home or exceptionally to another destination in the event they do not have access to their regular travel document because it was lost or stolen. This was the first time issues of this nature were discussed between the two countries. The government says a proposal will soon be presented to the government of the DR for review and further discussions. Minister Morris, whose ministry holds the main responsibility for travel documents, says his ministry is committed to bringing about change while assisting with treatment abroad matters. He says while emergencies can happen at any time, the emergency travel document will only be used to facilitate persons traveling without being in possession of a valid passport. The Ministry of Home Affairs will continue to communicate further with the Ministry of Consulate Affairs in the DR to further advance their acceptance of the emergency travel document. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, March 15th, Minister of Health Jamel Robinson led discussions with the DR's Health Minister Dr. Rivera concerning the return of human remains of individuals who would have succumbed to COVID-19 in the Dominican Republic. Discussions were also held regarding the strengthening of a better relationship between the two countries for the betterment of healthcare and services being offered to the people and residents of the TCI. A line of communication will be established and an agreement presented for review, consultation, and finalizations between the two countries. Minister Robinson says the mission to the Dominican Republic was a huge success, that the discussions were fruitful, and both countries now have a better understanding of each other. The delegation consisted of Minister Robinson, Minister Morris, Parliamentarian William Billiard, Permanent Secretary Mrs. Desiree Lewis, Deputy Permanent Secretary Mr. Frederico Johnson, Acting Deputy Permanent Secretary Senara John, Acting Head of Secretariat Mrs. Allen Jones, and Deputy Chairman of the National Insurance Board Mrs. Blake Thomas. For PTV Newswatch, I'm Delana Isles.
The Department of Disaster Management and Emergency has launched an app to keep you better informed in times of crisis. Take a look.
Residents in the TCI can now access news and safety tips easier with the DDME's mobile application launched last Friday.
The launch of this one-of-a-kind tool. Indeed, it's a testimony to our resilience. Through the app, you will have real-time hazard-related information at your fingertips. It will give you the confidence and creativity you need to take charge and be proactive in preparing your family, organizations, and businesses to respond and recover quickly following a disaster. I am glad for even more functionalities because it will become available in the near future. However, for this to happen, we will need your help and your feedback. By downloading the app now and promoting it, you will be playing a critical role in building a resilient nation. I know that all of you will continue to support us and make the DDME app a tool for resilience in the Turks and Caicos Islands.
The development of the app was funded through the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. and its aim is to connect all of the family islands, ensuring that everyone gets the same information at the same time.
Now, it's intimidating being a small island state in the hurricane belt, but there are two amazing things that now give us an edge. Perhaps we didn't want them to give us an edge, but the first is because I think we've had 3 Category 5 hurricanes in 13, 14 years. We've got an extremely experienced government, by which I mean the public service and ministers, who've done this before and will do it well again, and a really experienced public as well, who've been through it. So this isn't going to be their first rodeo, so to speak. And if you've got that type of experienced public, the best thing you can do is give them the very best information so they can make really smart decisions. And this is exactly what your application's doing. So again, thank you for that. Secondly, if you've got a really experienced leadership team, those that are going to be in the NEOP, the thing that they need more than anything else is information. And this app is giving them that. And so thank you very much for that.
Attendees at the event on Friday were taken through a live exercise on how the app works by Mark Wilkinson, radio communications and telecommunications specialist at the DDME.
As the events are changing, whether it's a rainmaker, whether it's a wind maker, we will publish that information. Updating this application, educating residents and guests alike on Know Your Risk. Assess it for yourself. Don't take my word. It's there in front of your eyes. There's no other island in this region that does this. And maybe let's look at this hemisphere. Who does it? We strongly believe in education. Once people are educated, they will make the right decisions when it comes to their own risk. Pay attention to the detail. You can actually go down to street level and see where we're hanging out. Know your risk. Yeah, and we're in our Caicos too. And we're going to middle. Oh yeah. And if you want to maybe hop over to south, know your risk. Grand Turk, I'm coming. I'm coming. Know your risk. On these maps, we're publishing shelter information, routes. Know your risk.
For PTV News Watch, I'm Delana Als.
Don't go anywhere. More News Watch when we return.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Welcome back to Newswatch. In previous newscasts, Dr. Carlton Mills shared what it took to complete his studies and excel above his circumstances. In this final newscast, he shares the 3 keys to maintaining focus to achieve success. Take a look. Dedication, commitment, honesty. The 3 habits Dr. Mill abides by every day, which he owes his success to.
I think it's the whole question of being dedicated. First of all, to having a vision, knowing where you want to go. I am from, I think it's 4th form. I recall in high school saying that, not even understanding what the term doctorate means. I think there was someone who came from the, at that time it was Pearson High School in South Caicos. Someone came from the Adventist organization to talk to us, and they introduced the person as Dr. So-and-so. And I said, I want to get a doctorate. And from 4th form in high school, that was my focus. So I think my success thing comes through primarily having a focus from an early age. And despite, like I said, I had curveballs all through my life, even when I went to do my master's, even when I went to do my doctorate. But you were able to get around each one. It wasn't easy, all right? But I never lost sight of what I wanted.
Mills knew from an early age who he wanted to be and what he wanted to dedicate his years to doing, which was being an inspiration to his peers and young people.
Going back on what I said earlier, wanting to help lift other students, children out of their current situation, I felt that if I didn't get to a position where I could say to students, look, you have a role model here, a role model in the sense that this young man came from the same environment that you came from. This young man's mother worked along with your parents at the fishing plant. So you have no excuses. If I can make it, basically what I'm trying to say, I wanted students to see me as a role model. And I think it's because of that whole idea of being that positive figure for young people.
Although maintaining focus was far from an easy task, Mills explains that the desire to help the people around him was the push he needed to never lose sight.
It was difficult. Sometimes you felt like giving up. I remember when I went to Sheffield to do my doctorate, and they gave you an opportunity with the first assignment and the only opportunity that you could submit, because you were new students, you could submit a draft of the assignments, and it was critique. And the critique I got from my lecturer almost caused me to give up, because I felt that I was not capable of doing it, right? But he said to me at the end of the conversation, this is just for your good. He said, now go and restructure this. You have information here that is relevant, that is important. And I think that gave me the drive and the inspiration. Because I was about to call the airline and rebook my ticket, because I felt insulted, I felt embarrassed. Then I went into my room and I sat down and I said, refocus, remember, what is it from 4th form? That has been my guiding light. What is this from 4th form in high school? You told yourself, and don't let anything get in the way of it.
Touching on another one of Dr. Mills' titles, that of a historian, Mills shockingly admitted that he doesn't quite consider himself a historian just as yet.
I've written quite a number of articles on our local history. I'm researching daily our local history. My wife and I have a book that's out now called Our Heritage, Our History. It's written mainly for students in primary and high school, and mainly for our teachers. Because the significant number of our teachers are not from the Turks and Caicos, and many people talk about that they can't find anything on the Turks and Caicos. So that book is available on Amazon now, and hopefully by the end of this month we'll have copies available at Pentecostal Bookshop, and also at Mr. Clare Bookstop. I keep forgetting the name of it. Right, New Age Bookshop.
He revealed that writing the book was a lot of work. However, it would not have been made possible without the help of one person.
But I thank God for a beautiful wife who is my support, and both of us have written the book. And I think it's going to enlighten a number of people, all right? And I'm now working on another book on the political history of the Turks and Caicos from the 1950s up to 1976, because a number of people are concerned mostly from 1976 onwards. We've forgotten about those days of the Paul Higgs and the Gustavus Lightbun and the Emmanuel Hall and the Harold Robinson and those individuals who paved the way for us to be where we are today, who paved the way for us to get our first constitution in 1962. Actually, it's 1959, but it really came into being in 1962. And it's not 1976, as most people tend to think. So there's a lot about our history. And until I'm able to write 4 or 5 more books, I'll consider myself as a historian.
Finally, listen closely for Dr. Mills' wise words of advice.
One simple sentence. You're going to have curveballs thrown at you. You're going to have blocks placed in your way. And many instances, it might be your own people putting blocks in your way. You may have to make detours. You may have a 10-year goal, but it may take 15 or 20 years. The point is, never lose focus of what you want to be. No matter what comes your way, stay focused.
The governments of the United Kingdom overseas territories have followed with horror Russia's invasion of the state of Ukraine. The overseas territories are in solidarity with the UK and the international community in denouncing Russia's military action against Ukraine. We bring you the details. In response to Russian military action against Ukraine, the UK government has imposed a series of sanctions against Russia, targeting its financial sector and the assets held by the Russian politicians and oligarchs. The overseas territories have acted swiftly to implement the UK sanctions against Russia that have been extended to them through orders in council or applied through domestic legislation. The overseas territories are reportedly committed to continuing to uphold the highest international standards of transparency and accountability. The Premier Honorable Charles Washington Mizik is the current president of the United Kingdom Overseas Territory Association Political Council, with Ms. Tracy Knight, UK representative for the Turks and Caicos Islands government and head of the TCIG London office, serving as UKOTA chairman. The main work of the UKOTA is representing the collective view of the overseas territories through dialogue and contact with the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office and other UK government departments, both at official and ministerial level. The territories represented on UKOTA are Ascension Island, Anguilla, Bermuda, the British Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands, Falkland Islands, Gibraltar, Montserrat, Pitcairn, St. Helena, Tristan da Cunha, and our Turks and Caicos Islands. Don't touch that remote, we'll be right back. Coming up next is your weather forecast.
This is a reminder that all PTV service accounts are due on the first day of each month. Accounts should be brought up to date by the 28th of the month to avoid disruption in service. Payments may be made on our office at Stubbs Diamond Plaza, Providenciales, Mides Plaza, North Caicos, and Airport Road in South Caicos. Payments may also be made online using Scotiabank, CIBC First Caribbean Bank, and Royal Bank of Canada. Please allow 3 business days for online payments to be processed. We thank you for your cooperation.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Here's the latest in your weather forecast. Here's your weather forecast for March 23rd, 2022. For the nation's capital, Grand Turk, on Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, high 81, low 76, winds east-southeast at 20 to 30 miles per hour. For South Caicos, mostly sunny skies, high 81, low 76, winds east-southeast at 20 to 30 miles per hour. For North and Middle Caicos, mostly sunny skies, high 81, low 75, winds east-southeast at 15 to 25 miles per hour. For Parrot and Pine Key, mostly sunny skies, high 81, low 76, winds east-southeast at 20 to 30 miles per hour. And on Providenciales, mostly sunny skies, high 81, low 76, winds east-southeast at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Now for your sunrise and sunset. Sunrise 6:51 a.m., sunset 7:02 p.m., and for your high tides and low tides, high tides 12:09 a.m., 12:09 p.m., and low tides 6:12 a.m., 6:12 p.m. And that's it for your weather forecast. We'll be right back with more News Watch.
Here at People's Television, we're more than just your leading news and entertainment services. We are
spreading the gospel.
We are breaking barriers.
We are preserving the culture. Each one, teach one.
We are committed to excellence.
We're creating change.
We are creating memories.
We are the future.
I am PTV.
I am PTV. I am PTV.
I am PTV.
We are PTV.
We are continuing the legacy. We are PTV.
Welcome back to News Watch. The Department of Gender Affairs has been hosting events throughout this month of March, which holds International Women's Day and is also International Women's Day History Month. Here's more. The array of events began on Sunday, March 6th with the church service held at the Rock of Jesus Ministry in 5 Keys, Providenciales. The most recent event was held this past Thursday, March 17th in North Caicos, where 2 very distinctive women were especially recognized.
I wanted to honor two ladies who are always doing for different reasons. The first person, she is always the doer. So I wanted to show appreciation to her for what she does. And I'm sure many times it goes unnoticed. So for International Women's Day, one of the honorees is Mrs. Kay Stubbs.
Kay Stubbs is one of the women who were recognized as honorees for her dedication and selfless acts in services in silence.
No task is too big or too small. She'll fill in wherever there is a need. She answers whenever there's a call. Service and excellence are synonymous with Kay. She sets her standard very high. Family and friendship and colleagues are true. On her loyalty, they have come to rely.
Nancy Delancey was the second honoree for the Department of Gender Affairs Night of Comedy and Fun, who humbly accepted her recognition and delighted herself in a poem written especially for her.
She's dedicated years of service, equipping us with life's learning tools. Who will till the soil? The unspoken question was heard. Not I, said younger generation. Yet again, Nancy Henrietta Delancey answered. Up at the break of dawn, planting crops with North Caicos pride. Sweet potatoes, cassava, beans, and green corn, organically grown with no pesticides.
Delancey has dedicated most of her life to teaching, farming, and craft making. Reportedly over the years, she has put the same patience, compassion, kindness, and gentleness those fields require into her relationships throughout life.
There are many more seniors like her, who are still working tirelessly. If only the next generation would say, "Here I am, teach me."
The Department of Gender Affairs final event takes place on the 25th of March with a Break the Bias Women's panel at the Living World Center Ministries for an ending commemorating women while in reverence. That brings us to the end of this edition of The Real News. I hate to leave you so soon, but of course, you can join us right back here every weekday at 6:30 p.m. and tap into our social media platforms at www.ptv8tci.com. I'm Erica Pinales, keeping you informed, updated, and affiliated. Until next time.